All right, well, hey, thanks a lot for coming, everyone. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Brad. I'm one of the personal trainers, and I like to kick everyone's butt. Whoever works with me, you can ask Vanessa herself. She'll tell you. But today we're going to be talking about nutritional factors for maximizing your health and your exercise performance. I'm going to be straight up with every one of you guys. I'm not a dietitian. Don't claim to be one. I'm not going to pretend to be one. However, I can tell you some general stuff about nutrition, and then once we get into the meat of everything regarding how it's going to affect your exercise, that's when really we can ask questions, stuff like that, all right? So by all means, I'm not an expert in the field, and I don't claim to be one, so please take that with a grain of salt, all right? So the table of content that we have going on is that we're going to be looking at different factors of health regarding your standard nutrition guidelines, your macronutrients that you need every day, vitamins, minerals, fluid, electrolytes, and then once we get into the belly of the beast regarding how it's going to influence exercise, then we'll talk about what you should be having before, during, and after, and then how to really alter your body composition. So like losing weight, building muscle, etc. All right? So we'll get straight into it. If you take away anything from this presentation, it's this website right here, choosemyplate.gov. All right? Choosemyplate.gov really kind of tells everyone how to live a healthy lifestyle, not just being health-wise with eating, but also gives you suggestions regarding physical activity. All right? So physical activity can be composed of many different ways. Like I usually tell people, do something you love to do 30 minutes a day. If you like go hiking, swimming, etc. Whatever you like to do, just do it, okay? Now, the guidelines that they provide on choosemyplate.gov is very beneficial for those who are considered sedentary, or those who exercise less than 30 minutes a day every day of the week. However, if you exercise more than 30 minutes a day, then we need to sit down and talk, because those guidelines are not going to be beneficial for you. All right? Any questions before we continue on? Like I said, if you take away anything from this presentation, go to choosemyplate.gov. All right, so macronutrients. We have three primary sources that we get our calories every single day, from carbohydrates, proteins, and fat. Carbohydrates serve as a primary source of fuel with any type of activity that we do. There are three types of carbohydrates. There's one called a monodisaccharide, two is a disaccharide, and the second one is a polysaccharide. The very bottom one, the mono one, is kind of like your blood sugar. Whenever the doctor takes your finger and draws some blood, that's the monosaccharide. And then a disaccharide is something like maltose, found in beer, liquor, something that can really be stored in the body and it's hard to get rid of. And then the poly one is your muscle glycogen, liver glycogen. That's whenever you're exercising and your body runs out of that blood sugar, it goes into those storages and uses that as blood sugar. And then we go into our protein. Protein is found in every single component of the human body. It's in your brain, it's in your blood, it's in your immune system, skeleton, organs, etc. Protein is one of the most essential macronutrients we need to consume in our body. And there are two types of them. One of them is what's called a complete protein. What that means is that it has all 9 essential amino acids needed to build muscle. And then there's a complementary protein, which has maybe some, not all of them, may have 6 or 7 or 2. Those can be found in all plants. And that is, you can combine different plants to get all your essential amino acids, but you can't get it from one single source. And then with the complete proteins, you can find them in all meat products as well as milk. And then we get into everyone likes to talk about with fat. Fat is actually very essential. You actually need more fat from your diet than protein, believe it or not. And the reason why is because big thing of organ protection and thermoregulation of your body. It controls your body temperature and it protects your organs. Let's say, for example, you're in a fight and someone hits you in the gut. If you didn't have fat there, you could die from internal bleeding. So it is a vital macronutrient that we have to have in our diet. Not a whole lot because it contains a lot of calories per gram, but we still need it though. And now, with the macronutrients, they actually work together with vitamins and minerals, and I'll explain that further along with the presentation. Vitamins are essential. Without vitamins, we can't absorb any sort of carbohydrate, fat, or protein. We can't carry out daily functions of activities. One of the biggest ones that we really look at are vitamin B12. Vegans usually have a hard time getting vitamin B12 in their system because it's only found in meats. It's hard to get a vitamin B12 in their system if you're a vegan because it's just not found in vegans. So with that being said, they work with different variables such as vitamin D, A, E, D, and K, etc. Now there are two different types of vitamins, water soluble and fat soluble. With water soluble, basically it is stored in water. And then fat-soluble is stored in fat. Fat-soluble vitamins are A, D, E, and K. So basically, if you have high levels of vitamin A, you can actually see your skin turn orange if you eat too many carrots, turn red if you eat too many tomatoes. It's actually possible for that to happen because it's stored in the fat within the skin cells. Now, whenever we boil our vegetables, and if you boil vegetables and then you dump it out, all that green stuff that pops out, that's all your vitamins that you're getting rid of. So typically, if we're cooking vegetables, we never want to boil them because we're losing all that nutritional content from the vitamins. Microwave is the best way to go regarding vegetables. I know I'm going 1,010 miles an hour at you. So if you have any questions, by all means, stop me whenever you want. Questions? Concerns? All right. So minerals play a direct effect with our vitamins. Minerals basically are kind of like electrolytes in a way. They have the calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, etc. They're the basic fundamental building blocks of our entire body, our teeth, bones, muscle, etc. Calcium and iron, I highlight it specifically because they're one of the biggest heavy hitters when it comes to our minerals. Without calcium, we can't contract a muscle. Without iron, our blood cells would literally disintegrate. So we need to have all these essential minerals. However, calcium and iron are probably the biggest two heavy hitters. And how they work with minerals, for example, vitamin D, if you don't have vitamin D in your system, your body can't absorb calcium, which means you can't contract a muscle. So there is a relationship between the two, and which is why we want to get all of our nutritional content from different types of food, so we can make sure we get everything that we need to go. So regarding that, we go into one of the biggest components that I like to really look at within fluid and electrolytes. Like I said, electrolytes are basically calcium, all these different components, but they're in a solution of water. They're dissolved, like ions, essentially, with a charge on them. Our bodies represent 45 to 70% of our weight, so we're literally walking water tanks, in a sense. You know? We really want to maintain that proper hydration of having half our body weight in fluid ounces every single day. Now, on this table over here, I have a gallon of water. I need to drink that gallon of water every single day to maintain my body function. Now, drinking more water will actually help increase your metabolism. It will actually help reduce your appetite, etc. It is a good strategy, if you were here for our last presentation, to help reduce weight. Now, whenever we exercise or really do anything, we're going to lose electrolytes. It's just part of the process when we sweat. We're going to lose the big heavy hitters such as sodium, calcium, etc. There have been a lot of suggestions saying sports drinks are a good way to go, which they are, don't get me wrong, during exercise. But like I said, these are just for people who are sedentary. They don't exercise 30 minutes a day. So foods are going to be the best way you kind of get those. Through tomatoes, citrus fruits, melons, potatoes, bananas, etc. Those are great sources of electrolytes that you can help replenish your body. So with that being said, we're going to be going to the next section. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Alrighty. So this is really an area that I like to look into regarding to exercise, because there are many new types of nutritional defects that could really hinder your performance. Of course, we all know if you're not properly hydrated, you can't lift as much weight, etc., because you feel tired. It's the same thing with different types of components. So before we exercise, we have to eat. We have to eat, have to eat. I always got on everyone who I work with saying, I haven't eaten before I worked out. All right? So I tell them to eat something before you work out. Now, there are different strategies you can use. Having a meal 4 hours, 2 hours, and less than 1 hour before you exercise is the best way to do it. However, from a time constraint, that's not necessarily possible. Because if we wake up at 6 a.m. to work out, no one in their right mind is waking up at 2 a.m. to eat. No one. Which is fine. You can eat less than an hour beforehand, just nothing too huge or crazy. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard the theory of carbohydrate loading. A lot of athletes do this. Is everyone familiar with that? Yeah? The process of that is basically you eat as much carbohydrates the day before you exercise, and you should be able to store a lot of your muscle glycogen for exercise. However, that's a myth. With this, it's actually a different way of doing it. So basically, you're going to eat the same amount of carbohydrates throughout the week, and then when you get closer to competition, you exercise less every single day. That actually ensures that you build up enough glycogen while you're still training, but you're not going to exhaust the body before you exercise. And then, of course, we want to avoid the different types of meals that are high in fat, fiber, and sugar alcohols because they slow down metabolism. Sugar alcohols are kind of the little numb feeling that you feel in your mouth when you chew gum or you have mouthwash, stuff like that. That's a sugar alcohol. Those slow down metabolism, whether you ingest them or not. So, we're going to go to the next one during exercise. Now, during exercise, heavy hitters. Of course, right? I know, right? The heavy hitters with exercise nutrition is based on hydration is a key. Hydration is key, is key, is key. If we're not hydrated, we won't be able to exercise for very long. But we also need the electrolytes along with that. And so the electrolytes that we could use are really found in some of these products that I listed in the PowerPoint as vitamin water, pediatric electrolyte, and water with just a little small salt tablet in it. That ensures that we get the sodium to ensure we have water retention, and we also get some different aspects of calcium, iron, etc. Now, carbohydrates has been a giant question mark in my field. And the reason why is because if you're properly trained, you should have all the glycogen in the world to exercise, which is true. And the one big factor of that is this process called gastric emptying. Whenever we exercise, all the blood pulls away from our chest into our muscles, so digestion slows down. So, with that being said, how could our gut basically get rid of everything to get into the intestines? Well, sports drinks like Gatorade and Powerade have actually ingeniously found a way to do that. They've shown that if you drink a less than 8% of a carbohydrate solution within a sports drink, it doesn't affect that at all. So whenever someone is telling you to drink Gatorade during exercise, it's true. You absolutely should. High in sugar, I wouldn't do it while just hanging out, but during exercise, Gatorade's the way to go. And then after exercise, it's kind of like a no-brainer. We need to be able to rehydrate the body, replenish the carbohydrates that we lost, and also find a way to get protein and fat in our body so we can help catalyze those reactions regarding your muscle and bone damage. All right? It's been shown if you eat within 2 hours, you're pretty good. However, I'm telling you to eat less than 20 minutes. We want you to be able to get some source of protein in you quickly, because the longer you wait, you tend to forget. And so with that being said, the last part of this presentation is how to alter body composition. There are many factors that influence how many calories you need in a day. One of the biggest ones are physical activity level and your resting metabolic rate, or RMR. You can use this equation right here to calculate your RMR, in which you'll need to know your lean body mass by taking your body fat percentage and then multiplying that by 22 and adding 550 to that. And that'll tell you how many calories you need while laying in bed doing nothing for 24 hours. NASA will actually pay you 30 grand for 3 months of laying in bed doing nothing. Sounds horrible. I would never do it. But anyways, and then another big contributor is your physical activity level. Now, all these are for your guidance. So what you guys can try to do is you could take your current body weight, multiply it by whatever gender you are, and by that number. So for example, I weigh 163 pounds. If I exercise at a light intensity, I would need 27,000 calories a day. Moderate, around 3,000. And then if I went to heavy, around 37,000 calories a day. You know? But of course, those are just rough estimates. You know? Those aren't specific towards everyone. Everyone has different metabolism levels, etc. And then of course, thermogenesis is basically your body's ability to digest food using that energy already. Your body needs to digest the food, the energy needs to come somewhere. So it's going to come from your body. And then weight gain and weight loss, you add 500 calories to gain weight, you subtract 500 calories to lose weight. All right? And so with that being said, thank you very much for coming. Quick, easy, and short. If anyone has any questions or concerns, please do ask me right now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you were talking about, you know, how far in advance you should eat before working out. But what about when they talk about that fasting workout or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. You mean like you wake up in the morning and you just go exercise?
Right.
Yes. It's very, very dangerous.
Okay.
And the reason why, because whenever you're sleeping, you basically don't eat for 8 hours. Your body needs to get a source of energy somehow. So it's going to take your blood sugar, which is the most readily available source. And so when you wake up, typically your blood sugar is typically very, very low. And then if you exercise, that's going to make it go even further down. So it's actually very dangerous to exercise without eating properly.
So when you said like you can eat less than 20 minutes beforehand, but something like, what do you suggest, like a piece of fruit or yogurt or
Yes,
something?
exactly. Banana, kiwi, orange. typically a fruit, because that is usually a high source of carbohydrate. Doesn't have any fat, no fiber, and no sugar alcohols. So it's a great source for exercising, yes. Yes, sir.
What about caffeine? I didn't hear you talk about caffeine. Is that good or bad for you?
Caffeine is the million-dollar question, right? It's called a stimulant. So basically, it increases your heart rate just by resting. You know, it's not necessarily a sugar. So basically, with that being said, you'd be exercising already having an elevated heart rate. While you exercise, it increases it even higher. Of course, that's dependent on your metabolism. So what I would suggest is no, it's not necessarily the best way of going across exercising. But if you enjoy it, you know. I just wouldn't exercise while drinking a liter of Mountain Dew.
I'm just talking in general.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, I don't think it's great for you because sodas have been shown to actually reduce your bone density, and caffeine actually plays an effect with that.
What about after the workout? What could we have? Because you said you would prefer that we do it within the first 20 minutes. I'm not even to my next location in 20 minutes usually.
Yeah.
With the kids and everything. So what are some things that you could keep in the car that would be quick and easy? But I don't want a whole bunch of calories either. So like I'm afraid of those bars and all of that.
No, I don't blame you. Chocolate milk's usually my go-to. Because it takes actually your body 20 minutes to digest solid food through the gut, depending on if it has high in fat, and etc. But chocolate milk's already a liquid. It passes straight through the gut into the intestines, and it can be absorbed within 20 minutes. So I actually suggest maybe a serving or two of chocolate milk would actually be your best way of doing it. Chocolate milk? Chocolate milk has all the essential amino acids you need for muscle repair and bone repair. It also has enough carbohydrates to replenish it once you're done, and it has just the right amount of fat needed to help speed up that reaction. Yeah, it has some sugar, I'll give you that. But with that sugar in it, it is a necessary evil, I feel like.
So like 8 ounces or something?
Yes, nothing too crazy. I want to be drinking the whole jug,
No, right.
you know,
No.
a serving or two at best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would there be an alternative if you're lactose intolerant?
Quinoa.
Ah,
Quinoa. Quinoa is actually the only vegetable that has all 9 essential amino acids in it. And it has enough carbohydrates and enough fat just for that. But like I said, the rate of digestion is slower because it's a solid. But within, like I said, within that 2 hours, you'll be set.
Good job, Brad.
Thank you.
I like to drink about almond milk. Is that
Almond milk?
almond milk?
Yeah, you'll get calcium from almond milk, of course. Regarding all the essential amino acids, I actually do not know. Let me do some more research and I'll get back to you on that, okay?
then along those lines, what about chocolate soy?
Again, with soy, it's tough because typically it's from a plant, and plants don't have all 9 essential amino acids. So like I said, I had to do more research on it. If you ask Anita, she might know. She would know more than I would have about that. Yes. You're welcome. After you exercise. After you exercise. I wouldn't drink it every single day. After you exercise is probably the best. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Yeah. Anyone have any other questions or concerns?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. But like I said, I'm always here. If you guys have questions or concerns, don't hesitate to drag me out of the gym and be like, hey, Brad, is this cool? Is this right? Like, let me know. Okay? Thanks for coming.